In this video, we're going to explore, and this is really a personal documentation of how I'm trying to become a better JavaScript developer, because I want to improve my skills. And one of the things that most people are saying how to become a better JavaScript developer is to just develop stuff, create things. Right now, one of my targets is to create a POS system. For that, of course, I need many different elements. And as I make these videos here and I document my personal journey, and I hope you enjoy this watching, you will see I will make many mistakes, which is normal, and I improve myself step by step. I always compare this with like a snake. A snake goes through the sand. It goes left and right, left and right all the time. And if it hits a stone, it will find a way to go around the stone, going the left way or the right way. And basically what I'm doing here is exactly the same. I make mistakes and then I will try to work myself around it, how I can solve it. And you are seeing basically how I start as a beginner or as a starting JavaScript developer. Alright, then what I want to make here is, let me explain now what I'm going to make here. In this personal journey is I want to have an item here that I put in here something, let's say a product, because I'm creating a POS system. And for that I need a part where I can add an item, and the moment I click on add item, this item should be stored somewhere. Right now I want to store just here below, just to get this working. And if you've seen some of my other videos, I was talking about how to create a button to click on that multiplies itself as gradually step by step, depending on how many times you click. And this was a part of the calculator of a POS system. Now we're going to put in the items here. Alright, so to do this, we're going to work with child append, and I have to explore myself as well how to do this. So let's start and look here. So the first thing that we're going to do here is, first we have this HTML file here and we have this item here. And basically what I want is I want to append a new item, and to explain what is append or child append. Append means to add something. So we're going to add a child basically to a item. So for example here, and if you're asking what is the child append, or what is the child, basically it's related to nodes. So basically a node, N-O-D-E, is from a DOM object or document object model, which is the HTML file. And to make it very clear, basically everything has children, and those children are considered child nodes. And they are also parent nodes depending if there's something below. So for example, the HTML tag here, we have here the HTML tag, which is the root node, meaning there are no parents above that. This one here is basically also a HTML tag. So this is the root, or the top of the top. And then this one, the HTML tag, has two nodes, which is the head and the body. And these are children nodes. But the head has children nodes as well, which is the meta, all these options here, and the body has the same story here. They have div and all these items here. However, this div, paragraph, etc. are nodes, but within those are nodes as well. So as you have a list item, basically the unordered list, the UL tag, which will be in here, the UL is the parent, and then the LI, or the list item, will be the child. These are always the children, and we will be adding up more and more. So we say here add, let's say here milk. So what we want to do here, after milk, we want to add up the next one, which we call child append. So we append the child at the very end here. Alright, so let's start and explore that. So you have a little bit of better understanding what are nodes and how they work. So if you append a node, you now understand what you're really appending. So basically the node here, this is a child or a sibling, the sibling from this, so that's the brother or sister of this, but the child from father or mother, UL tag. Alright? And this of course is a child of this div, and this div is a child of this div, etc. So we can going up. So that's why we have these indentations here. That makes sense which one is part of where. Alright? So what we're going to do here now is we're going to look at the append. So we have here JavaScript, and basically here, let's see, do I have that here? That's here, the append child. And you can see here there's a lot of text in here. What we have to do here, basically, we need to create a node or a specific node, what is it? So this we have the element here. Alright, so you can see here that use a variable or a constant we can use, and then we say document. So in the DOM, yeah, the document object model, which is the DOM, which is the HTML, we create an element, and this element is called the li. And what we will do with the li eventually is we're going to attach it wherever we want to attach it, which is in this case here the document get element by id my list, and then append child node, which is the variable here or the constant. All right, so that makes sense. But if you let's start working on it so it will make more sense for you and for me as well. So all right, what we're going to do here is the very thing is we're going to give a constant, and this constant is we can give it node, and this node is, let me say, document dot create. What are we creating? Basically we're creating an element, or we create a tag. So we say create element. All right, what is the element we're going to create? In our case it's the li here. Yes, so the moment we have that, so we're going to create this. And then what we're going to do is once we did that, we're also going to attach it on here. So I'm going to add that in here. You saw some other options where they have create text, create element text. With the text, that's the text, but we do that later on. All right. So we're going to get this one here now. So we're going to attach this or append this. So we say here node dot append child. So we're going to append to the child. And what is the child? Well, let's check here. Let's double check one more time how we're going to do this. And you can see here node.append child text node. Oh no. Document the get element by ID. Alright. So you're going to select where you wanna get it or append that. So we're not going to do the node append. That will be only the text node, that's later on. So I'm going to remove this. But what we're going to do now, and I hope you understood what we did, what you just saw there. What we're going to do is basically this. We're going to first select where do we want to add it. In our case now, this will be the ID here. And let's call this parent. So this is the parent. And then we say here document.get element by ID. And this is the parent. And the parent dot, and then here we're going to say append child. Which child are you going to append, or which is the variable you're going to append the node? All right. So if we have this and we would refresh, you would see here. I'm not sure if anything works here, but what we can do is we can do it by on click. So the moment we have a click button here, we should see this into action. And I noticed that there is no semicolon, so maybe that might not work. That's the reason. Let's see here. Open up Developer tab. And let's check here. Do we see another li in here? If we do, there you are. You can see we already have it. This means that we're already appending it. So if we would add two of those, oh, let's add two of those. You will see this should work as well. No, doesn't work. But then it would mean that we're only activating once. If I remove this, then you would see the following here. So as you can see here, let's double check here. If we are going here on the milk, you can see there's now only one list item, and if we activate this again, there will be two. So that means that this is basically how you append the child. All right. So that is step one. So we already know how to append the child, but now what we want to do is we want to append it based on a click function here. So what we can do here is we give an ID, and then this ID says, let's say this is a shopping list, right? So this we call a shopping list. Shopping list. And what we're going to do here, this is add item. That's the ID here. So we say constant add item equals get or document and get element by ID. And what we're doing here basically is connecting it to JavaScript. If you really understand what we're doing here, basically it says this: the moment we click here, or this ID should be now read in JavaScript. JavaScript can now see this specific item. Before that, if you would click on the button, it will not see it. All right. So once you do that, then of course what you want to do is, well, now you want to make sure that there is a trigger. So when will you call, or what will you do if someone clicks on this? What we want to do is in JavaScript that there will be an action. And which action will it be? Well, adding a new node or append a child in the li. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to say here add item dot add event listener, and this event listener will be triggered. So it listens to the button, or JavaScript listens to the button the moment we hover, click, mouse on, whatever we want. In our case, the moment we click, at that moment it will trigger this command, or this function must start and operate. Let's say here, and this is the function, it will be named add item to list. Alright, so that's the function name. I'm putting a semicolon. Alright, so in here we're going to create now a new function. And what is the function name, do you think? Well, you probably will guess it. The function name is add item to list. This is not really the best name, and maybe it should be with capitalized letters if you want. That should be probably better. Let's do that one. So it's at least easier to read. Or maybe it should not be add item to list, add to list. Alright, that sounds a bit more suitable. So we add to list. So what do we add to list? The item in our case. So we can cut this, put it in here. And there we are. Once we've got this, we can remove this, save this, and now we have something very nice. Let's refresh. You can see here, we still only have one list item, but the moment we click, you'll see a second one. And if you keep on clicking, sadly enough, you won't see anything here, but don't worry, we can start and do something. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect it with the text here. So once we have this, or once we click on this, we want to make sure that this item is coming in the list here. And what will this item be? Well, it will depend on the value in this here. So what we have to do here is, by default, I'll put in the value blank. And what we're going to do here is, we're going to make this another ID. And this is the item name. That's the ID name, which is very practical because we're going to add the item, so what we need to define the item name. So the item name, so we have a const item name, and then in here we say document dot get element by ID, which ID now in this case of course is the item name. Yeah, so now you should really understand what this does. So we have here the item input. So what we want to do here is we want to first make sure we get the item name dot value, and the reason why I say dot value is once we type in something we should extract that item here. So I say here console.log. What we're going to do is we're going to test that. So the moment we have this, that's when we click on this button, we will extract the value out of here, and let's test it first in the console log. So let's refresh this. You can see here there's nothing, but once we click on here, you can go to the console, there's nothing, right? You see nothing here. However, it starts to add up, of course, list items. If you look here very carefully, where are we? Yeah, there you are, the parent. You can see yes. But now we say here is test and item. Nothing adds here. Do not worry, because it starts to add up here. So that means it reads what we want to do. It reads the click effect that we have, and now it starts to put it in here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, we're going to figure out how can we insert this item value, or item name.value, and add it up here. And you've maybe heard that I've said about document.createElementText. Well, let's check here if we have the right one. This is seconds, and there we are. This is the one. So you can see here, create text node. All right. So this will be interesting because this is the command that we need. So what we're going to do here is, let's check here. We're going to do the following. We say here constant, and this constant will be item. Well, it should not be item name. What is this? The text node. Let's see here. Wait, we should have this one here. Of course, sorry. That should be this. The reason why we get this is the value dot create text node. I'm going to remove this, and just to make sure, let's check again our information. All right, we have a variable. It says document.create text node water. All right, so we don't need this, or at least not there. But we need this. We need to put it here. So we say here document.create text node. This is the command. The text node is the command. This is in the DOM because it's related to the DOM. Remember, we're working with nodes, and nodes are not only JavaScript, but they're DOM items, which is basically HTML items. All right. So we say here always document. All right, document.create text node item value. And now what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with it? Well, what we want to do is we want to put this, and this is very important. A list item has a child as well. What is the child of the list item? Well, specifically the text. So this is the text node. So we need to append that to where? Where do we append this? Are we going to append it to the li, or are we going to append it to the parent? What do you think? Well, I'll tell you what I think, and I'll tell you then the reason why. It's if we understand that the li is the parent of the text in li, that would mean we need to append the child to the text, or to the li, because li is the father or the mother. Let's say that we call it the parent, which is in general any of the two. So it's the parent. So this is the child, so we're going to append that one specifically to the li item. So what we're going to do here now is the following. We're going to say here document get element by ID, and that is in this case we need this one now, the add item. Let's see. Oh, sorry, no, not the add item, but the parent name, which is the node. All right, so we give it the node. Oh, sorry, we don't have to do even like that. We can do it simpler. We say node. Oh no, are we correct here? Yeah, we say node, which is this. Am I correct? I'm now questioning my own thing. We have to add up the node, append the node child. Let's see, are we working correctly here? Append node dot append text node, which is correct. That is it. All right. So what we have to do here, item name value. So let me check here. Where are we now? We have the item, and I thought I was very thorough. However, I'm still struggling as well, as you can see. You know, this is sometimes tough. So we're right here. This is the var text node, right? This is the one we are having as well. We created text node. Later on, we have to append child text node, append the text node to. All right, node dot append child text node is appending the text to li. This is the one we need. So do we have the text node item, which is this one here? We want to append the text. So what is the create text node? Where's the create text node? I realize that somehow, oh, there it's up here. All right. So that is our create text node. We can give this maybe a proper name. So we say here const item equals that. All right. So this will not be confusing. And then we have here the item dot append child to whom? To whom? To the node. In this case, yes, we need to append this to the node because this one was appended to the child. Oh, sorry, the parent to the child. So let's save this and see if we are spot on. So if I say 1, 2, 3, all right, failed to execute. Oh no, node doesn't support this method. All right, so where's our item? Item append child node is not allowed. So that means that I have a mistake here. And okay, it makes sense because right now what we do exactly the wrong way, probably. We say item here and node there. And the reason why is we want to add, this is the parent, adding it, and you append the child to the parent. So you can see here we have the parent already. I was just doing the opposite. What I want to do is the item or the child and then we want to make the parent the child, basically. So I was swapping them. Let's see if this works. This works now. 1, 2, 3. Bam. There we are. 1, 2, 3. Bam. All right. So you could see, I hope you understood what I just explained. This here is the parent, or the father, or the mother. And here's the children. So append the child. So create a child onto the node. Basically here, I will not call this node anymore. This should be a item list. And then you have here better names. That would make more sense. And there we are. So we are now getting very close. So we're very close now. What do we want to do now? Well, basically we have this. We have the text. We are able to do it. But you can see something is not right. If I do this, I want this to be reset. How do we reset it? Well, we can assign again the value of 0 or blank. That's what we're going to do. So we will say here, let's see what's the name of that item name. So we're going to say here the item name will be now assigned again back to 0. So we say item name is, item name dot value equals nothing, blank. Let's try this, refresh, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. Or 1, 2, 3, I mean, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can see now it works nicely. So we have this here. Let's see what do we need more. We've got our items here. What we can do is, we can, for example, maybe we want to delete the item. That would be a nice one. How do we delete an item? Well, that's a good question. Well, let's figure that one out. Let's create a new function. And this function will be exactly the opposite. We'll say function remove from list. And there we are going to explore now. How are we even going to remove this? So what I'm going to do here is we're going to put in, we have this append. We can put in here another appending, basically a button, where we append the button, and in this button we want things, but what we can do as well, we can do something else where we just press on it, and the moment we press on it, it will delete. So what we need to do now is to figure out how we're going to do this. And this is a tough one, because I have no idea. Right now, what I will do is I will leave this for now, and I will make it a separate video, as I am also struggling, honestly, how we're going to remove that one right now. And I have to do some research on that. However, I hope you enjoyed this video, because this video basically will show you a few items, and maybe you say, well, this is nice. How can I add more stuff? Well, how can we add more stuff? We have here the append, and then what we can do is we can append here specific items as well within this here. So let's say we want to append something else. We'll say here, append item list. What are we going to append? Let's see if we can put in here a button. Button, and we're going to put in the button. And we say this, close. Let's see what happens if we do this. So basically we are adding here another one. In the item list we append another child with this text. So let's save this, refresh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, alright, so there you are. That will not work. Append a node, parameter 1 is not a node type. So let's double check here. Alright, so this is not allowed. So what we can do is, we can maybe do the following. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to make a variable out of it, or a constant, and this constant is called button equals that. Alright? So what we're going to do now, we're going to add the append the button. Apparently the append child is only allowed to use variables. So let's see here, 1, 2, 3. Alright, we get another error, and I guess it's the same issue. You failed. Append the child. Append button. Alright, so this is not allowed to do at all. As you can see, this is the reason why I have to figure out some things, but let's see if we can do maybe another option, which is instead of this, we're going to append it to the parent. So if I will append it to the parent, let's see, if I save this, so it should be underneath the parent. If I say here 1, 2, 3, there you are. Alright. So this is not the way to do it. It's not a function here. That means that there's something wrong here. Button, maybe the button term is not allowed. Probably not, but there must be something else here that we have to do. However, it's not allowed to do. So I will leave the video as it is, and I'll pick it up in the next one once I did some research.